Hello everyone. Oral Medicine and Radiology Made Easy. This channel is mainly intended to upload lectures based on various oral medicine and radiology topics in a simplified version. I will also be uploading solved viva questions, long answer questions as well as multiple choice questions. So don't forget to subscribe. In this lecture, mainly focusing on the vesiculobullous lesions of the oral cavity, its introduction and classifications. So what are vesiculobullous lesions? Vesiculobullous lesions are a type of mucocutaneous disease characterized by vesicles and bullae. So what are mucocutaneous disease? The diseases affecting the mucous membrane as well as skin are called as mucocutaneous disease. So vesiculobullous lesions affect both mucous membrane as well as skin, and they are characterized by the presence of vesicles and bullae. But what happens in the oral mucosa is that since the oral mucosa is thin, it causes these vesicle and bullae to break rapidly into ulcers, and these ulcers get easily traumatized from teeth and food, and they become secondarily infected by oral flora. So oral mucosa is thin, and because of that these vesicles and bulla, they break rapidly and form ulcers. These ulcers are easily traumatized from teeth and food, and they become secondarily infected by the microorganism present in the oral cavity. So when the patient presents with vesiculobullous lesion, we need to collect important information while taking up the case history. So the 4 pieces of information which will be of help to the clinician to diagnose the disease are: 1. The length of the time the lesion have been present. So whether the patient has noticed the lesion since one day, or it's been present since few weeks or since few months. So based on the duration of the lesion, we can classify it as an acute or chronic lesion. Acute lesions are more likely to be of viral origin, whereas chronic will be more likely to be of immunological origin. Second, we need to ask the past history of similar lesions, whether the patient had similar episodes prior to this present complaint, or is it the first time the patient is presenting with this type of lesions. If it is a second time or recurrent lesion, then it is more likely to be a case of recurrent herpes stomatitis. And the third information we need to know is whether the number of lesions are present as single or multiple. Most of the viral lesions present as multiple lesions. Location of the lesion is also very important because herpes infection has a tendency to involve mainly the keratinized mucosa. This will help us to arrive at the diagnosis easily. So before we go ahead with the classification, we need to understand some of the terminologies related to vesiculobullous lesion. So what is a vesicle? Vesicle is an elevated blister containing clear fluid which are less than 1 centimeter in diameter. So here you can see in the diagram, this is a vesicle. They are fluid-filled blisters containing clear fluid less than 1 centimeter in diameter. Whereas bullae are elevated blisters containing clear fluid that are more than 1 centimeter in diameter. So the basic difference between vesicle and bullae are their size. One more difference is that most commonly vesicles are present within the epithelium, which is clearly visible here. Below the vesicle also there is epithelium, and above the vesicle also there is epithelium. Whereas in case of bulla, it has lifted the epithelium and it is present below the epithelium. So vesicles are intraepithelial, bullae are subepithelial. But both vesicles and bullae, they contain clear fluid. Suppose you find a blister and it contains pus, you can't call it as vesicle or bullae. vesicle and bullae should have clear fluid. Erosions are moist red lesions caused by rupture of vesicles or bulla, or it may be because of trauma. So erosions are caused because of rupture of mainly the vesicles. As I have already told, vesicles are intraepithelial. Erosions are also confined to the superficial layers of the epithelium. You can clearly see here it has involved only the superficial layers of epithelium, whereas the deeper layers are still intact. Whereas ulcer, it's a depressed lesion with an epithelial defect that is covered by a fibrin clot resulting in yellowish white appearance. So, when compared to erosion, ulcer is a deeper lesion. It involves the entire length of epithelium and then extends to the connective tissue. So, it's a deeper lesion, whereas erosion is a shallow lesion. Erosion involves only the superficial layers of the epithelium. Ulcer involves the entire epithelium and it extends deep into the connective tissue. Now coming to the classifications. The first classification is based on the Burkitt's textbook of oral medicine. Burkitt's have classified it as acute multiple lesions, recurrent lesions and chronic multiple lesions. Under acute multiple lesions, we have mainly the viral infections, that is herpes virus infection, Coxsackie virus infection, varicella zoster infection, erythema multiforme and allergic stomatitis. Under recurrent, we have only one infection, that is recurrent herpes simplex viral infection. Under chronic, it's mainly immunological disorders like pemphigus, bullous pemphigoid, mucous membrane pemphigoid, erosive and bullous lichen planus and herpes simplex infection in immunodeficiency people. The second classification is based on their clinical presentation of whether it is a predominantly vesicular lesions or predominantly bullous lesions, or it consists of both vesiculo-bullous lesions. Under vesicular lesions, we have herpes simplex infection, Coxsackie virus infection, varicella zoster infection, measles and allergic stomatitis. Under bullous lesions, we have bullous pemphigoid, mucous membrane pemphigoid and epidermolysis bullosa. The lesions or the diseases which presents as both vesicle as well as bullae are erythema multiforme and pemphigus. Third classification is histological classification based on the textbook of oral medicine, oral diagnosis and oral radiology by Ravikiran Ongole and Praveen BN. They have classified as the intraepithelial vesiculobullous lesion and subepithelial vesiculobullous lesion. Under intraepithelial, we have herpes simplex, herpes zoster and pemphigus, whereas subepithelial, they have pemphigoid, erythema multiforme, bullous lichen planus and acquired epidermolysis bullosa. The fourth classification is based on the textbook of oral pathology by Regesi and Scuba. They have classified vesiculobullous lesion as viral diseases, conditions associated with immunological disorders and hereditary diseases. Under viral diseases, we have herpes simplex infection, varicella zoster infection, hand, foot and mouth disease, hepangina and measles, and the conditions that are associated with immunological defects are pemphigus vulgaris, cicatricial pemphigoid, bullous pemphigoid and dermatitis herpetiformis. Hereditary diseases, epidermolysis bullosa. With this, we come to the end of the classifications. I have given 4 classifications here. Postgraduate students of oral medicine and radiology, when they write the answers, if they write multiple classifications, it's easy to fetch marks. The next part of vesiculobullous lesion will be covered in the next video. Thank you.